Good. Have you been have you had a chance to play around with Patreon?
Yeah. And I was gonna ask, and maybe we can talk about this when the meeting gets going, but if there's a way to send an automated welcome message
To
just
the to the
to people who newly sign up.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, to newly
Um,
signed up.
yeah. And then if I wanted to see if someone wanted to film like a little, 10-minute meditation or something that we could include. It's just like a free little bonus for signing up.
Oh, that's a really good idea, actually. Hi, Scott. It's a really good idea, Jenny.
Howdy, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you today?
Yeah,
Good, great to see you.
I think Jenny has. I think, there were so many things you did behind the desk at 21st that I wasn't aware of, Jenny. And I think that a lot of those techniques that we can use.
Jenny did everything.
I do know. Like, when I was struggling to recruit for parents and kid family yoga programs, Jenny was like, I can get you a list by the end of class.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would have.
Yep.
That.
Jenny did everything. Our front desk team, just amazing. People just don't know how much work they did.
Well, I'm acknowledging she did a lot. So, whatever secrets or tricks, not secrets, but tricks that you have, Jenny, that would be, just do it. Talk it over with people and then do it.
Well, thanks. I just did what I was asked.
One thing that comes to mind, Jenny, to answer part of your question, now when someone does sign up, they do get an automatic email. It is a welcome email.
Okay.
But we can edit it. We can add, like what you're suggesting, which is a really good idea. We can edit that because Katie, just kind of whip something together, but we can edit that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then add something like, hey, here's a little bonus class or meditation or something. So we'll need to figure out where to edit that, where it is.
Yeah, I've been looking to see because I was looking to see if there was something like that, but haven't been able to find anything.
Okay, let me just quickly check to see if Katie's coming on board.
I think spirits are going to be rising, and I think money's going to be flowing a little bit better. I think there's going to be more than one stimulus package coming out.
Yes.
These kind of things are going to be, and as more and more people get vaccinated, that, more movement will be occurring.
Yes, I agree. Let us begin. You are here, people. And as people sign in, they sign in.
I have not fed the dogs.
Scott Moore, are you there? How are you? What's new in your world?
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute myself again.
It's Zoom.
Yeah, things are good. My dad was in the hospital with COVID for a little while, but he's out now, so that's good. And he's not feeling any better, but at least he's not in the hospital. So,
oh my gosh,
there's that. But we're just making it work with kindergarten and Zoom, and trying to make a living and balance time. And we're good. We're busy. We're doing a bunch of house repair stuff, and that's been kind of cool. So, yeah. I've been a little bit buried with some trying to, I launched this big kind of training project and kind of been buried trying to get that out there. But I am interested in getting this Patreon thing set up. I think that sounds really cool.
Good. And how's the training going in your?
It is good. It's a little bit slow. I've had I've had a few people sign up. I've made a couple thousand, but I'd like to add. So I'm tweaking some pricing. I'm tweaking some promo stuff.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm still going through and editing a lot of the content,
Yeah.
going through and realizing some tweaks need to happen. So that kind of stuff. But it's been good. It's been a lot of work, but it's been good.
That's good. It's certainly going to pay off, Scott.
Thanks, my friend.
Yes. Hi, Heather. Welcome. How's my girlfriend?
Hey girl, doing good. How are you?
Doing okay. What's new with you?
Not a whole lot, I
No.
guess. And a lot, that's like
Right.
the perpetual cycle right now.
Exactly. That funny balance that we're all kind of juggling and playing with, right?
Yes. So mainly biggest thing is I decided to send my kids back to school this week, which
Oh,
was like, I just cried about it all week.
I'm sure you did. Oh gosh.
But it's like, it's been 10 months. I just don't know how much longer we can do this holding pattern.
Were they ready to go back? Did they want to go back too?
Oh yeah, they were ready to go back. It's just more of like, there's not necessarily like new information. It's just like,
Yeah.
can't keep staying in the same situation forever.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I let them go 3 days this week and that went well.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Anything
What's
new
new with you, John?
What's new with me? Gosh. My teacher training starts next week. I've got a few people that are signed up, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a nice way to kind of launch. I've been trying to get it launched, just didn't have any signups until this go around. And so got some people and some people that are on the fringe ask, they might do it, they might not. So we'll see. I might have a couple more. But it's going to be all online. I've created this curriculum that it should work online. I might be asking a few of you. I've asked Scott to maybe do it'll be some like little Zoom workshop or lecture or something. So I might be reaching out to some other folks to participate in that. Even if it's pre-recorded, I might, if you can't, because I'm going to be meeting on Thursday nights with my students. But if people can't do a Thursday night meeting or something, it can be another day that we can coordinate, or even a pre-recorded something, even a class or a lecture or something. So we'll see.
That sounds awesome, John.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a huge deal. I know the undertaking, just what it takes to become registered as a yoga school is enough work,
It's so crazy.
It's crazy.
That part's so crazy. That's the hardest. I think that's harder than actually doing the training.
Absolutely.
That dang application is just stupid.
It's stupid. I've developed curriculum for universities and it was much, much, much less rigorous.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, but once you have it, and then
yeah, exactly.
then good to go.
I've got it now. Come on, buddy, let's roll. Now I need to just use it.
Yeah, out there. Heather, are you and Kimberly got yours going starting in February, maybe?
Yeah, we're hoping to kick ours off end of next month. That's been the plan. Obviously, Kim's kind of, I don't know if you guys know, but so Kim had her second surgery.
Right.
She's been healing and feeling well, and then her husband just broke his tibia and tore his ACL.
Oh my gosh.
So
I think they've met their hospital quota for like the decade.
right,
Yeah,
like
they don't have to go anymore.
literally their little boy is the only one in the family who hasn't broken something this past like 6 months.
Oh gosh.
I told her they've used up their bad luck. So from
Yeah.
here on out, it's smooth
All
sailing.
good. It's all good now, right?
So I'm hoping we don't have to make adjustments, but she's had, some crazy things like that going on. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully it'll go on through.
Scott, what do you think about, I mean, when you and Kim do those workshops, they just seem so successful. I don't know. What do you think about doing those quarterly or once a month or something?
I am all in. I would love to do that. Totally. Yeah.
See the notes that came out of my head when I participated. It was like I came downstairs and I asked Mike. I gave him a martini and made him sit down because I was like, "Okay, honey, here's what's good."
Right.
I love that. Oh, get your shoes on, Buck.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of that, does anyone have any current workshops or special classes that people are doing or have planned or would like to do, either for yourself or for Mosaic or through Mosaic?
Well, where are you guys with your Voga thing?
Still on
Yeah.
pause. Yeah, we haven't started back up at all.
We should talk about figuring that out.
Yeah.
But I am going to do some breathwork and cacao ceremonies for Valentine's this year.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I wondered if that was something I could or should do through Mosaic, or if I should just do it on my own, because I do want to do it in person. So I don't really know where we're at on that as a collective either.
I think it'd be great as either. I mean, just for you or for Mosaic. But if we do it through Mosaic, we do have to have the discussion about when are we ready to do a in person again.
Yeah. So that's kind of my only thing is I'm going to do it either way, but I think it'd be cool to do it through Mosaic and at the public space. But like you said, that would have to be a collective decision, and I'm not sure where we're at on that.
Yeah, my immediate thought is it's just going to be a weekly discussion. It's just going to be a continuous discussion or assessment each week, just seeing where everything is.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Any other thoughts from other folks? Just
Well,
paper.
I don't know what the standard should be. And again, I was relying on, a lot of what Anastasia was saying and then our group and how we all felt about it. But I do think that things are really changing. I think that I know that our school, which is just around the corner from Publik, will be opening up March 1st, most likely. But I understand there's a new strain coming out, but I think this vaccination kind of works with that. I don't know.
I know there's so many pieces to it.
Right.
A new strain, there's a vaccine. Are people being able to get it? Are they taking it? But what comes to mind as far as in person, whenever, or it might have to start with in person, the setup that we've had, but everyone has to wear a mask during the class. That's kind of the only thing I can really think of at the moment.
Because numbers are not yet dropping.
That's what makes it hard is, numbers aren't dropping and those things aren't shifting yet. But I think everyone's kind of sick of being in this holding pattern and ready to at least find some semblance of normalcy. And at least at Mosaic, I always felt safe because we were so spread out. We had so much space for so few people and we're so spread out.
Yeah.
And everyone that came always said they felt, so safe in that environment. So I don't know if maybe we even open it up as a poll, who's ready to go back if we're still distanced to this degree or whatever.
Right.
That's
right.
a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So create a survey on who's ready to go back, send it out through the newsletter.
We can do that, or when we have this next little group meeting that Kim is soliciting. We can discuss it then as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really good idea, you guys. Just do a little poll, just see if, because there might be a, you know, a small handful of folks who are willing and able and wanting to go teach in person.
Well, and I think sometimes, you know, like it's really awesome we have this Patreon thing happening now so that all of the pre-recorded content is getting used and having some value, and people are still teaching their regular classes. But I know just for the sake of like energy exchange and creating, like being able to be in person and do things like workshops, and not like I said, I just feel like I've been in this holding pattern, and it's just like, get me out of here, I'm over
Right.
it.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, I'm sure our students are the same way, you know, it's like, I want an in-person class, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And or people just can't practice at home. Like, you know,
Yeah. Right.
when I had younger kids, I would practice to a videotape, literally, you know, and do it before they would wake up in the morning, you know, like 4:30 in the morning, which I know is John's noon, but for me, it was early, and it's the only time I could. And
Exactly.
anyway, going away and being in another space is sometimes what people desire. I have to ask you guys, I've been really resisting asking this because I don't want to sound like I'm tattletaling or I'm gossiping or, you know, whatever. But there are studios that are just ignoring everything and practicing inches from each other with no mask. And I just don't understand how, one, they can do that. And then two, how they can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I thought there was a fine that would be, you know, imposed upon, or I just don't understand the consciousness of it. And of all places, a yoga studio, you know?
There have been some studios since the beginning of this that just like totally ignored it, you know, like nothing was going on, or they were not being truthful about what they were teaching and when and how. And then I know in Utah County, you know, I'm not sure why it is they think they're the exception to everything, but you'll see studios that have, or, you know, a gym even that has a location up here and down there, and it's like Salt Lake, masks mandated, Utah County, masks requested, you know, and it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was down in my mom's, caring for my mom, she lived in Utah Valley. When I was down there, you know, you go to the store and nobody was enforcing masks, even in like stores, like the health food store. It was crazy.
It's so crazy.
Oh, see, that's just,
Yeah, it is nuts that people aren't, that even yoga studios where you're breathing deeply, consciously, that people aren't required to do that, and that there isn't some sort of ramification for that. Even if I don't know, I don't know what to do about that.
I don't know either. I think it's been this disease that, you know, was set higher up, even, like, you know, my frustration with it, because I'm coming from a bountiful perspective. All of our school teachers that have gotten sick at our school live in Bountiful, and that the message there is way different than it is here. Why is that? And it's probably, and then, but all of our hospitals are mostly here. And so, and they're the ones that are impacted. It's like beating your head against a wall, or, you know, and expecting a different outcome.
right. It is.
So
Making.
I appreciate us taking the higher road. I think in the long run, I know what you're saying, Heather. I know that it's hard to be steadfast about this. It's hard. It's not easy, and I miss the community tremendously.
Well, I think the part that's hard is like, you only know your behavior patterns, you know? So like me, for example, I I have been teaching at Mountain Yoga since maybe it was June or July they reopened.
Mhm.
And they're still doing the same thing Mosaic did, spaced out, only a certain number. You have to reserve in advance, da da da. And that's gone really well there. We haven't had any sort of issues at all. You have to wear your mask until you're on your mat, the whole same kind of thing. But then it's like those and doing my private sessions in my office are really like the only times I'm out and about interacting, you know, but like I don't know what anyone else's behaviors look like, and that's when it gets complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. We can't negotiate for. I know how careful I am out there and about, but you know, my dad's pretty careful, and he came down with COVID. I mean, it just happens. I think it happens more than, I don't know. It happens a lot, and it's a tricky situation. I wanted to get back to normal too,
Yeah.
but I'm not ready to go back and start teaching. Personally, for me, and I would hold no judgment about somebody who had a different opinion than I did,
Yeah.
but I don't feel comfortable going and teaching in the studio yet. I don't think it's personally responsible for myself to do this. And so, you know, but I also have the luxury of being able to make money doing something else, you know, I mean, teaching online and selling my stuff online. So I have that luxury, and I really recognize that not everybody does.
Right.
Right.
Well, I like the idea of a survey, Amy. Would you be able to whip up something?
Yeah. We could talk about it. I mean, is there like 3 questions you want me to ask, or do you guys have specific questions you want me to word it?
I wonder if we even pull like, should we open back up for in-person classes, or should we do like, you know, monthly events or something to just like keep that community tie somehow? I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
like who feels like they would want to go and you know, who wants to go back in person and to what degree? Who would do regular classes? Who would do periodic workshops? You know, who feels like we need to wait?
See, and like I said, I totally understand where all of you are coming from, but under the restrictions we were already upholding at Mosaic, I would feel comfortable going back and doing like some specialty stuff, because
Yeah,
that's also part of the reason why like I don't have a ton of things on Patreon. I like to do like the deeper practices, and for me that really is something that has to be done in person or with people I already have like a working relationship with, you know.
Right.
Right.
So that's the complexity for me, is like
Right.
I like the deeper stuff and I want to get back to it.
Right. So what about even a combination? We learned so much from Jenny's Black Lives Matter workshop, you know, like we did that perfect blended. I know that it may have been pressing on your brain to coordinate it all, John, but electronically or technically. But what about even combination teaching on the screen and in person?
It's doable. It does take some manipulation.
well, if you want to put together some questions, I'd be happy to form that into a Google survey. I think you can actually do a survey directly from MailChimp, actually. But if not, people would be willing to take a quick little survey. It'd be interesting to get that information.
Yeah,
And I'd be happy to send that out in a newsletter.
that's good. Let's just start with that.
Okay.
Because even if it was event based, like we can easily get 12 people in there 1 or 2 times a month that want to like shake it up and do something different, you know. That doesn't seem like a huge risk.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yep. All righty. Let's play with that. Let's move on to the next thing. so the monkey survey that Kim sent out as in regards to having a meeting, in regards to inviting folks back. Do they want to teach? Do they want to be a part of the Mosaic? Do we want to be part of Patreon? All of that. So she'll be tallying that result and let us know when that meeting will be. And I think Amy, you said you'd also just send a text or email or something.
Yeah, there's 3 dates and times.
Okay, yeah, and you'll text those out.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and talk about Patreon. Currently, well, okay, Katie put the site together. I guess she's not going to be on the call. Katie put the site together. Jenny is going to maintain it. So she's got some ideas for that. Why don't you mention that one idea again, Jenny, about the welcome letter?
Yeah, I was just thinking with an automated welcome letter to everyone who signs up to include like a free little 10-minute meditation or just kind of a little bonus video. And I thought about filming it myself, but since like my class was the first one on there, I didn't want it to just be the Jenny show. So I wanted to see if anyone.
I have no problem letting it be the Jenny show.
It could be the Jenny show. If I would say, Jenny, just do one anyway. Because I think we can rotate that freebie, because
Oh yeah.
Beth actually sent me 3 short little videos. We could probably use one of those and probably rotate it.
That's a great idea.
If you want to do one, and we just have it on hand, and then we can just kind of switch it up,
Cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
or even put 2 on there. It doesn't matter really. Just a little freebie and welcome. So think about that. That might be good. So we are currently at 11 patrons at the $30 level.
Oh, good.
$30 per month. So we need to talk a little bit about payout. And I'm going to share my screen in a moment, but Kim put together kind of a proposal for a payout scale and how this might work. As we look at it, as I show it to you in a moment, I'll go through it, but if someone has some math skills, I might need your help on this, okay? So we've got 11 patrons at the $30 level, and when someone pays their $30, Patreon already pulls out a percentage from that. So our Patreon bank is at $297. That's where we are currently, okay? With the hope, of course, that we'll get more people. And so I want to encourage everybody to, just put a little blurb in there. If you're teaching, put a blurb in your description, or announce it in your class, or send a text, put it on Instagram, whatever your platforms are. Just a little bug in people's ears about our new system, so that people can take advantage of the yoga classes, the 250 plus yoga classes that are on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to share my screen. Do we disappear when when I share a screen?
We go to a little corner.
Oh, okay.
You could gallery us.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the proposal. So we have a current bank at $297. So at the moment, there's 3 tiers. And so the 3 tiers are, first tier, they would get 15%. These are folks who, they have archived classes, they're actively posting new classes, and they have an administrative role, meaning they've set up the site and they're managing in some capacity. And so that's John, Katie, and Jenny. Second tier, 10%. These are folks with archived classes, and they're actively posting new classes currently. And right now that's Kim, Anastasia, and Steph. Third tier, 5%. These are, you have at least one archive class on YouTube. You may not be actively teaching right now for Mosaic, but you have archive classes. What Scott, Heather, Amy, and Kimberly. So that's where this is just a proposal. This isn't set in stone at all. This is just an idea, and I wanted to get feedback from folks.
That seems extremely fair to me. Also, would there be a way to like kind of bump up into the next level, for example, if you wanted to?
Yes, because there is a fourth tier, and it's really just the folks who are just interested. They have no archive classes at all, but they want to start teaching with us again, or start teaching with us. And so we had that at 2%.
What about Jason? Isn't Jason some archived classes?
Yeah, actually, he would be on there too. But then there's some folks who might be opting out, and that's why we don't see like James on here and Abby.
Oh, I didn't know James was opting out as well.
Yeah, he asked if we would take his classes off of the Patreon access, and so that's what we've done.
Okay.
So I'm going to put a question mark next to Jason because I'm not sure if Jason is going to participate or not, or okay. but his classes are available. But yeah, to answer your question, Scott, like you can move from a tier 3 to a tier 2.
Right. Okay. By adding more classes, or by adding 2 classes regularly.
Yeah. You start doing classes again, and adding them in. So yeah,
I'm just, I just worry that it's not fair. Like if I've got maybe, let's say a total of, just throw out a number, 10 classes on there, and I'm doing regularly, but then, like you and Jim and others have like 50 classes on there, people would be receiving more of your classes. So I just how to make that equal.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part, because there's certainly folks who have more classes than others. But as far as just kind of a wash, basically, if you've got
yeah, and who knows, maybe if you've got like more than X amount of classes, then you're in a tier, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Now someone help me with this, because I was trying to play with numbers. So that first tier, for example, so if we took 15% of 297, I think we get $44.55. And if we multiply that by 3, we get roughly $133.65. Okay, so that 133.65 is subtracted from 297. Now I'm not sure how to calculate that next tier. Does that make sense? Do I take 10% of 297, or do I take 10% of whatever the remaining balance is once I've paid these folks?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you would do is you would take. So let's say we give the net after Patreon's taken their account. Take the net, and then take a total of 15% of that. Okay. And then divided that by all those who are in the 15%. Is that am I thinking that right?
Yes.
Well, that wouldn't. No. Well, but let's say there's only, and then you would take, the 5% and divide all the people who are in the 5%. But I could see how that could be problematic, because let's say there are 20 teachers in the 15%.
Right. They'd get all the money.
Well, but they'd be splitting up 20 times. And yet if there's one person in the 5%, they could be getting
$2.
Percentage was, yeah. So, okay. More math skills required.
Yeah, that's what I was like, because I was trying to play with this, because if I just took, because that 297 is net. And if I
Yeah,
took
okay.
15% of that and then 10% of 297 and 5% of 297, we're going to pay out too much money.
Right.
I can get an answer to you really quickly, but can you copy and send this to me?
Yes.
Down.
I feel like, hello,
Hi, Katie.
hello, it's me. Sorry I'm late joining. I apologize.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I also wonder, like, if people are just, okay, so for the people that have some archive classes but aren't actively posting anything, I almost wonder if it's like a one-time payout thing, because I don't know, because they're not like doing anything going for, like, I feel like for the month that we get paid, it should be the people who are posting videos almost. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that makes sense, actually.
That's a good question and good observation.
Yeah, it should be a one-time thing. If you could send it to me, John, that would be great.
Should I email it to you?
And
In
then-
that case, it might kind of maybe there's only 2 tiers, in that there's people who are posting regularly and people who are at so many classes online. So let's say everybody's got to have, I don't know, we'll throw out just a number. Everybody's got to have at least 20 classes, and you're paid at that one-time thing until you post enough classes, and then you're part of the payout structure. And so then everybody just had, as soon as you are actively part of the Patreon thing, that you're an active member, then everybody gets, we just divide the net between everybody who is participating, and that way it kind of, but that might be too simplistic. I don't know.
I think that makes sense, except for the like administrative stuff, because
That's
I
true.
think whoever is doing all that is going to end up spending a lot more time.
Well, what if we did this? What if the administration, they get a flat fee, and we'll call that, and there's a Patreon fee that we pay out, then there's an administration fee that we pay out, and then we split from the net from there between everybody who is actively participating.
That's a good idea, I think.
Say that one more time, Scott.
So we get the gross of everybody who's, we get the gross, and then we subtract the Patreon fee, and then we have an admin fee. And so everybody they get a flat fee each month for being part of the admin. And then, and so they get that. And then the net after the admin fees, after the Patreon fees, then that's split up between everybody who's participating. And by participating, either you're an active participator and you're getting percentage. Otherwise, you've just received that first. I don't know.
Yeah,
this is complicated, but
it is complicated.
Because I'm thinking, where do we pull that money from for that first initial? I mean, we could, okay, for everybody who's not actively participating, we take that off the first month of whatever, and you're getting some right off the bat. Okay, you've been paid. You're taken care of. Story over. And then going forward for the months, going forward, then you were doing you get a percentage of the stuff,
I kind of like that.
And I like the idea of the admin, because the admin's a flat fee, so that it's super fair. So that you're making X amount of dollars for maintaining the site, for doing this and that and the other. And that could adjust as we get more and more. I mean, who knows? Maybe the admin is a percentage of the gross, but that's taken off before we split it up between all the people.
My hands are like freezing cold.
Am I making it too complicated?
No. That's
No, that's good.
My math teacher said he can help me with this.
okay.
I just need the information, and he's willing to, like, if you already sent that.
I sent you an email.
Okay, thank you. Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Him right
I
now.
like that idea too, though. It's, it's like tipping out the staff when you work at a restaurant, because they're the ones like holding shit together.
Totally.
Right. So just to throw out some numbers, let's say we did Patreon, what do you know what percent Patreon takes?
Is it
I think it's
3%?
8.
Oh, is it more?
th-
Oh, well, that
I'm
297,
trying to think.
that
Actually,
297 is net right there.
Okay.
it might be
And-
less because we're not doing merchandise. So sorry. Go ahead.
So let's just give it a number. Let's say it's 5%.
Okay.
And so let's say, just for number's sake, let's say we gross $500 a month, and then Patreon takes 5% of that, and then admin takes, just throw out a number, 10%.
Uh-huh.
And we split the 10% between everybody who is doing regular admin. And then so that 85% that's left over, that is divided equally between all the contributing members. And a contributing member is somebody who is actively posting classes online.
Posting at least one class a week, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. At least one class a week, and I'd say maybe has 20 videos on there and is posting, once a week, something like that.
Yeah. I dig that. Amy, you got that?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm working on it. I'm
Good.
documenting what you're
Good
saying.
thinking, Scott. Okay.
So if we had a spreadsheet, and we, for example, in the when we get at the end of the month or whatever, beginning of the month, however it works out, we post in the you write the gross total and then the net after Patreon account, then the net after admin, and then we have this new net.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just a simple formulation. All the people who are on there are listed. We divided by the number of participants, and then boom, everybody's got their whatever.
That might be a good system right there.
I don't know. That's just one way to do it.
It is. Any other suggestions or ideas or thoughts about that? You guys?
Just one thing that I thought about too is making sure that, John, you're getting paid for the website fee. I don't know if it's still up and running since we're not doing signups right now, but I'm assuming you're still paying for the domain for the year.
I am, and
So-
maybe that's just, we can take it out of this, maybe whatever the dollar amount is. Just
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense instead of trying to track it down and then having everyone Venmo you, of just taking it out of that, or maybe that's a discussion to have.
What do you guys think about that? Just take the dollar amount a month out of our Patreon bank.
Yeah, it seems that would be part of the admin. That's one of the line items of the admin.
There you go. A question to Katie, because you're doing this for you. Is it, because there's a Patreon, I call it a Patreon bank or a Patreon wallet, basically. So money goes to Patreon. So how does it get to a bank account? Do you have to link a bank account or a PayPal account?
Yeah, so I have it connected to my PayPal, and I get paid through PayPal.
Okay.
Now, will we get a 1099 at the end of the year? Like,
Can you get scoot up the hill?
sure, bud. At the end of the year, I get a huge,
Up the hill.
1099K from PayPal, and I've got to pay taxes on all that money that I've received. And so that's,
Yeah, that's
Hold on.
something to think about.
Yeah.
which, maybe it's not a big deal at first, because we're just kind of, it's a couple $100, not gonna be the thing. You could also, if you're filing your taxes, show it as a liability as you're paying out all the other people.
No, don't.
Sweetie, hold on just one sec.
I didn't say don't.
I got a 5-year-old meltdown happening here.
Multitasking.
In other words, when I, for example, host a yoga retreat, and I've got, let's say I'm collecting all the money for a yoga retreat, and I'm co-hosting with another person. I've got to pay the venue, and I've got to do all these things. Even though PayPal taxes me for all of the revenue gross, and I've only kept maybe 25% of that after I've paid the venue, after I paid the other teacher and other expenses.
Right.
I list on my taxes all of those as a liability, as a write-off.
As a write-off.
So I'm really clear on my thing,
Mhm.
so that, like, I did gross all this money. Like last year I touched like 130,000 in PayPal, but I only got paid maybe, I don't know, 30,000 of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to show
Yeah.
all where that all went. So, something to consider. That's all.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't need to worry about that until it really starts operating like a real.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. We probably don't have to worry about it right away. But if getting some nice income, we'd have to really keep that in mind. So with all,
Well, and
go ahead.
yeah. Last thing I want to say is simply that as long as we're keeping really good records, it'd be really easy to show the write-offs for that. So it wouldn't be too big of a concern.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's all.
So an admin piece, I don't know if Jenny wants to do this or we get someone else to do this, is that bookkeeping part. Someone who's can do, does the spreadsheet and payroll basically.
I don't mind that kind of stuff. I'd be happy to kind of take a stab at that if somebody wants to hand off. Anyway, just an idea.
And I don't mind doing it either. I might need a little tutorial. I mean, I know how to do an Excel spreadsheet, but just as far as working the numbers, I might need a little guidance.
I could.
Scott, just kind of maybe talk about it.
And then make them
Yeah.
get out of the way.
Because if the admin can stay to one person, Jenny,
Exactly what
Scott, maybe that might help.
I'd be happy to build the sheet and show how to just make, plug in the numbers, even put formulas in there so it all automatically calculates. And so, yeah, I could happy to build that and just hand it off to Jenny and say, do that.
Okay. And then as far as linking, and getting the cash out, Katie, you might have to talk with Jenny, perhaps. So I guess because the question might be, do we link her PayPal, if you have one, Jenny, to Patreon so that Katie can just do a click and just transfer that cash?
I'm just
Is
gonna.
there a way to create a Mosaic PayPal just to keep my own record keeping separate?
We might be able to, since we have an email.
That's a good question, because I'm wondering if we would need to create we could probably create a, Mosaic Yoga, PayPal account. It would be linked to one person's individual bank account, personal bank account. But I think you could probably create a Mosaic PayPal.
So I'm just looking right now at Patreon and their payout methods, and there is like a option. So it says, I am an individual, or I am a corporation, or I represent a corporation. So we could do the corporation thing. And then I think, and then it says Patreon requires W-9 forms for US based creators who have earned a certain amount of money based on their state of residence. So, would we all have to fill that out? I don't know. Learn more about taxes. There's stuff on here about the taxes. We do not withhold any taxes from your funds raised on Patreon. Please consult your tax professional to understand your tax obligations. That is a little bit of a thing. The other thing too, just FYI, we can keep the money in that account for as long as we want. I honestly, this is totally, throw this out, I don't care. But I honestly wonder if for the first 2 or 3 months, we just let the money build up and use it for administration fees, like the website, if there's anything that comes up with having to pay Missy for if we do end up going back there and paying Missy for utilities or whatever, and just like use it for business. I don't know, just for me, I'm like, I'm not counting on getting like this huge amount of money from this. I'm still hoping to make the money I was making from people to some extent. So I don't know. Maybe we wait and see like how much we can get this off the ground, and then from there, and then we'll have more money in there to pay the people out that are on the third tier.
Right. You know, I heard a good suggestion, which is, you know, treat it the way it is. Just let it be a thing until it starts operating like a business, and start treating it like a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Other thoughts?
Does Patreon, I thought I remember reading something about like they can take out taxes?
It
Or
just said
would
they
you need
don't.
to be, oh, okay. I would assume that we would probably need to be incorporated or LLC or something like that to be able to fill all that out as Mosaic, not as an individual.
Yeah. Let's see. Just trying to find more info. Team. Your team.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just looking because it says like, do you have a team? And then it says upgrade your plan to give multiple teammates access to your Patreon account. So then at that point, I don't know if we can just like have it pay out different people, because this is all part of the payout, like little section. Like have Patreon just pay out people from itself. But I don't know if that is too complicated. I don't know. I didn't know.
There's I was gonna say, Katie, where can you give access? How can Jenny see that? Is that just patreon.com somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just on our Patreon, and then like on the left there's like all the little can you see this? Never mind. Maybe that's not helping. But on the left side, there's like home, post, patrons page, and then there's an income section. So go to the income section, and then there's like earnings, pledge growth, patronage, refunds, payouts, taxes.
Okay.
So let me go to that specific taxes thing.
Okay. What else was I going to ask? So an idea is to maybe not pay out right away. You know, let's get through January, maybe through February, see if we get questions, and see where we are at the beginning of March, and maybe start payout. I mean,
I think that sounds like a good idea, just because like at this rate, what like maybe people will get $20 for the month, and I don't feel like that's gonna make or break somebody's income. You know what I mean? So maybe for the next couple of months, let's just like try to get it rolling and off the ground, and see if we can get a little more get more people involved in it, and then once we're there, decide how, and maybe at that point too, within our group, we'll kind of know how it's going to be working, who wants to be more involved, less involved, a little bit more as well.
True.
Yeah, let it run for a month or two, and then we'll see what there's the trends, and then I think we'll get more information that way.
That's a good idea.
And just keep the money for now in a little like bank account for us to use if we need stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
The only question I have is when Venmo first came out, there were some problems. People could easily it was early on in the business where people could break into Venmo, whatever that word is.
Hack.
And it's when people were, yes, they could hack Venmo, and it was easily hackable, and they could take people's balances. That was like a problem that occurred then. Do we know if Patreon, is who's Patreon's parent company?
I don't know, but they've been around a long
time. It's a guy who started it. His name, he has videos on YouTube because he like he has videos on there, like how to grow your membership, how to set up a Patreon that supports you full time. Like he's cool. His name is Jack Conte. And I think it's been running
A long time.
Yeah, a few years. So I think they've got it like really, I don't think that should be an issue.
I don't think so either.
I've not heard anything
I think
about
they're
that.
pretty secure. Because there hasn't been any. They've been around for a while, and I haven't heard any scams.
Like over 5 years. Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't been doing, like, I set it up and then I haven't really done much because I've just had other stuff going on, but I can help on the actual website, because like once people subscribe, then it's almost like a Facebook page. Like then they can go to every video like from that page. So I can go through and like post some things to kind of make it look a little more exciting. And like I've just been slacking on social media. I mean, I'm like in this like state where I'm like, I don't know if I want to like put myself, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that, but I feel like I could I'll try and see how it goes. And if I feel like totally overwhelmed, like I just don't have time for this, then I'll say, but otherwise I'll try to put some time into our Patreon and getting it to.
Do you work with Jenny? Would it help?
Yeah, because Jenny's kind of taking the lead on it.
Okay. So maybe I can just talk to Jenny and like Jen, we can talk about like what we want to do each week or whatever, like some ideas of how to get it. And I can post on our social media, try to explain it a little bit better and stuff like that. I feel like that's partly the hard thing is like nobody's heard of it and nobody knows what it is. And the other thing is we're using it in a little bit of a different way than it's been like traditionally used. But yeah, so
Right.
yeah, I'm just telling you personally, I'm gonna try to put a little more of myself into it. I've just been
why don't you get together with Jenny to talk about some stuff, because I know she would like to maybe edit the outgoing welcome email.
Okay.
So maybe you can give her a little tip on that, on how to do that. I've posted a few things, like I've just said, hey, have you taken, Anastasia's class yet, and sent it to all the patrons, and that's easy. Okay. I just, so it's just little things like that once in a while. It keeps it fresh.
Right.
But the main thing, and you mentioned this, Katie, is we got to get the word out. So for all of us, is mention it in your classes, post it in your description. If you're doing Facebook classes, text your friend, whatever, maybe Scott, maybe send out another email.
The thing that's a little bit hard for me personally, and maybe you guys relate, maybe not, but like, I don't want to sound selfish, but I feel like I don't want to advertise it so much that it takes away from like my personal, because I feel like when people are paying me for my classes, like $10 for the class, then I'm going to make more than I would make like if I make $40 for the entire month from Patreon. So I'm like, I still want people to take my classes when I post them on our Facebook or on my YouTube and just pay me directly. But I want to help support this, but I'm like, it's kind of like this weird line where I'm like, I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket because I still want, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So maybe like, yeah, using our Mosaic social media to really push that. And then each of us just like on our own social media, explain, like even just like,
exactly.
Yeah, just like explaining, but we don't need to like push it as much. I don't know. It's hard.
You're right. I'm hearing you.
So I think you're not alone. I think everybody has their own gig on the side.
Yeah.
Right.
That they need for paying mortgage bills. And then then there is this collective that we're a part of.
Yeah. Because I kind of think that's why James didn't want to do it, is because he feels like it's going to take away from his personal stuff. And like, I get that. But I'm like, for me, I'm like, I would like it to just be like, this awesome thing I get to contribute to on the side, but I still am hoping that like main income will come straight to me. And in order to do that, I have to keep like promoting my own stuff, over,
yeah.
like subscribe to the Mosaic Patreon. But so I don't know. I guess that will just be an interesting thing that we all have to figure out what works best for us, and then using the Mosaic social media especially to just promote it as much as we can.
There you go. Yeah, there is a balance for sure.
And I've thought about that too, Katie, because I am working on launching my own Patreon eventually. And I think Steph had a really good kind of perspective of it on the Zoom call that John and her and Amy had, where you can kind of market it as like, if you are just taking classes from me and feel free to still donate and to become a part of my Patreon.
Right.
Or if you're taking more classes from the collective, that I teach with, or that if you want to support other teachers or have access to different variety, then, and you can find your own way to phrase that, but that was kind of her perspective of like, keep donating to me if you want to just support me.
Right. Or if you're only taking like a couple of classes each week from these specific teachers, then maybe just, if that's working for you, that's fine. And I kind of say that with my own thing. I'm like, if you already have a system that you use for like the way you pay for the classes you take from me, awesome, keep doing that. But this might be a fun, like you get little perks on the side. I don't know. So yeah, I guess you're right. Just figuring out the balance of how to do both of them. Because like in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't have to take away from my own stuff. But I'm like, to what extent do I put my energy into this? Blah blah. But anyways, I'll try to, Jenny, maybe me and you, because we need to get together anyways. It's been a while. Maybe we can get together sometime in the next couple of weeks and like just like look at the website and go over stuff on there and kind of like come up with a game plan, a little bit of like posting each week or whatever. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm still down in St. George. Since there's no snow to come home to, I've just been hanging out in the desert. But yeah, I'll be home, by the end of the month.
Okay,
for sure. So in the next like 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
But we can also, always hop on a Zoom call or something.
It's just harder on Zoom because I don't know how to do the screen sharing thing, but anyway. Okay, I'm done with my thank you for listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, just to kind of summarize a little bit what you just said there, Katie, because there is a balance. And if you're putting too much energy into someone else's or something else, so is there a payoff for that? Right. And so you want to be able to put the energy that you have into your thing to promote that, and then maybe just a little sprinkle
right
the thing. So it's a balanced payoff for everybody.
Right.
Let's see. That's all I've got on the little agenda here. We're after 9:30, folks. Anything else from anybody? Thanks so much for adding your input and suggestions and thoughts and whatnot.
Thank you.
Wait, sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt. I'm gonna just confer with Scott. Able to talk because I wasn't able to get everything. I was kind of doing 3 things at one time. So the notes may be a little late, but it's trying to summarize everything we said. And I was getting a little lost with some of the spreadsheet talk.
Okay. And I recorded this meeting. And so what I'll probably do what I did before. I'll just give it a quick little edit and put it on YouTube.
Okay.
And send the link, put the link on Slack so people want to watch the meeting, they can.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
In addition to the notes. Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Always
nice to see you and chat.
Want to add anything before we sign off?
Ooh, I'll say like one more thing. Just like how Steph was like, I can make little meditation videos if it helps with the Patreon. I think that's an awesome idea if like every once in a while, if one of us wants to make like a 15-minute quickie or even like a 5-minute guided meditation or something like that. And then we can just send it to our Patreon subscribers and be like, hey, as a Patreon subscriber, we have this fun little perk for you. Like, so just to make them feel like, you know, they're getting something for.
Yeah, and they feel special. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she actually gave me 3 videos.
Awesome. She's
And a
awesome.
little thing. So yeah, we're making, and so if anyone else, Jenny mentioned she would want to do one, but yeah, and I think Heather, because you asked about using the public space to film.
Yeah, that's totally how I intend to contribute, is more just like pocket classes on something specific, you know, like 10, 15, 30 minutes rather than
full class.
I don't know. It's just because I'm not teaching at Mosaic right now. I do have a couple Zoom classes, but for me, it's like, I don't know. You guys do it so well. I feel awkward. Like I need to like talk and interact with whoever's there. So then it makes it awkward to like post.
Well, I like that. That's perfect, because it is those special things, those 10, 15, 20, you know, minute special pieces, videos or whatever. Yeah, if you want to do that, I think that'd be awesome, Heather.
Yeah, so I'll totally do like specific alignment things and some guided relaxation meditations and breath work stuff. So maybe like deeper little pocket videos for curiosity or whatever.
Love it.
I think that's awesome.
Yep.
And also that's like special content that they can't just get on our Facebook page and stuff like that.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
So
we
that's
can
my intention.
advertise with that stuff too. Like, hey, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you get to watch these little like tutorials by Heather or these little meditations by Steph, or, you know.
Right.
I think it's good.
Groovy. Oh, we're sitting down for breakfast with Katie. I love it.
Almond butter. And
It looks like it's like this big.
It is.
it's delicious.
It is. Oh, well, all right, everybody. If there's nothing else, we can sign off for the weekend.
Good. I thought this was going to be a short meeting and it ended up being like busy.
It's nasty. Okay. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.